Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to talk about a TikTok creator that has been subject of a lot of speculation. And before we really get into the video, I did want to preface that as much as I think that these TikTok deep dives are interesting, I also think that certain people do not understand the concept of boundaries and invading someone's privacy. For example, just because you think someone is weird, I don't necessarily think it's appropriate for you to find their workplace, find out that they have children. All of these things, to me, scream too much. And of course, if there is actual genuine concern, if you find that information, I wouldn't say post it on TikTok, I'd say contact the local authorities if there is a real reason for concern. Anyway, the person we're talking about today is named Sabrina Prater, who goes by she, her. I apologize if I look down, but I made notes on my phone because this is my second time filming because the first time I forgot a lot of things. There are a few things in Sabrina Prater's TikToks that have certain people suspicious, certain people on edge, and that is giving certain people an off feeling, just like something uncanny. The most recent TikToks that Sabrina has posted as of when I'm filming this, which is Wednesday, are all TikToks asking for people to Cash App her because she owes money. I'm assuming it's probably related to her living situation, which we'll get into in a second. So one of the first things that made people suspicious or kind of weirded out by Sabrina's content was that the areas in which Sabrina films seem to be falling apart. It's obviously inside some kind of domicile, a house, if I understand correctly, but it is falling apart. Like, it just looks like it hasn't been lived in and it hasn't been taken care of appropriately, or there haven't been the funds to be taking care of it appropriately. People were suspicious of, like, why is this person dancing to music in this house that is in this state, and what led it to get to this state? One thing I do want to say, and I don't really want to go too much into detail about this particular aspect because I don't like speculating and talking about this. I think it's invasive when it comes to other people. But there is a TikTok circulating with court documents that discuss Sabrina with her dead name, I believe, and Sabrina's ex-spouse. I believe they're exes now. They're no longer together. They're at least separated from what I could understand from the court documents, where the documents claimed that Sabrina and the spouse were under the influence of drugs and got drug tested multiple times, and Sabrina especially came up positive multiple times or would not show up to the testing. To me, that isn't necessarily relevant in the context of what we're talking about. And I don't want to speculate now saying, oh, she's obviously still high, she's doing this drug or that drug. Not interested in doing that. That's completely useless and frankly damaging. So other points that made people feel uncomfortable and like there was something off going on is that in certain TikToks, there are marks on the floor, some of which people say looks like dried blood, some of it that looks like fresh blood. Frankly, on that one, you can't really convince me of that because depending, it could just be a pool of water. And since the house is so dark, it could look like it's a color that it's not. You know what I mean? So to assume that it's blood, I think is really a reach. Now, that's not to say that you can't be weirded out or you can't be suspicious, but to assume that it's blood just because this person, you know, doesn't really fit your idea of normal, regular TikTok personality. Another reason that people were getting suspicious is because there are a few TikToks where Sabrina dances in front of a door that appears to be barricaded. I'll put evidence of that here. You can decide what you think of that. People were coming up with a lot of really, really grim theories as to why that door may be barricaded. One of those theories is that Sabrina is a kidnapper or a murderer. In fact, many people were referring to her as the fictional character Buffalo Bill from the Hannibal Lecter movie, which I think is a fucked up way to refer to her, because I think a big part of using Buffalo Bill is not necessarily because they think the people calling her that think she's a murderer, but rather because she now identifies as a woman, but prior she did not. So that the similarity is kind of rooted in transphobia. I think that's what those people are doing. And the fact that she is wearing women's clothes and dancing, which is partially a scene in the Hannibal Lecter movie. Buffalo Bill was trying to make a skin suit, so the comparison to me doesn't read unless you're being bigoted about it, really. The other thing is that in the background of some of the TikToks, you can see CCTV cameras, which personally, I didn't really think anything of. The thing is that in some TikToks, you can see people on the CCTV cameras, which doesn't necessarily mean anything, because it could mean she has people over. It could mean she has even just people who are there to fix up the house. Like a plumber might like come up and it's a man, and people are already making all these theories of, you know, like these are kidnapping victims, these are accomplices, like these just like really far out claims. Now, there was a TikTok that is unfortunately deleted now from a creator who I can't find anymore, who basically went on a deep dive and found out that Sabrina Prater owns some kind of company that, can't remember if the company renovates houses or buys houses to renovate with the specific intention of renovating, as opposed to just renovating houses somebody else owns. If that is in fact true, it would make sense that Sabrina might be in houses that seem to be kind of falling apart, because the whole point of her being there is to fix them. And the CCTV cameras would then also make sense, because if a house looks like it's not lived in and no one's there, it might attract people to break in, or it might attract, you know, squatters. It might just kind of attract negative attention that would then cost money. So maybe the CCTV is for safety reasons as well as maybe insurance reasons as well. So to say it's automatically kidnapping or something's wrong just based on having CCTV cameras is ridiculous, because I have CCTV cameras for safety purposes, and it, you know, like I'm not hiding any bodies in my basement. Next up is there is a TikTok where you can hear what sound like screams in the background that are screaming help. The thing is, I don't know if I've been conditioned to hear it, because, you know, once someone tells you, oh, this sounds like that, your ear kind of is like, oh yeah, this does sound like that. But I feel like people are also very suggestible, and that's me included, when it comes to analyzing noises we hear in audio recordings. You can tell me if you can hear help. So that obviously did not help the case of Sabrina, because then it just seems like there are too many things that are weird or that seem off, according to the internet anyway. There are two more things that occurred that made people feel uncomfortable. Now, one of which was there's a clip of her going live on TikTok where people have been harassing her kids, which I think is completely inappropriate, because her kids have nothing to do with any of this. I didn't see her kids in any of the TikToks, so I don't know why her kids would be brought into it at all. And last of all, there was a live stream that was really, really frustrating to watch, because it basically glitched every 5 seconds. But basically some woman went to interview Sabrina, and they apparently did a house walkthrough, and the interviewer was like, oh, there are no bodies in the basement, which I was like, if someone were a murderer or a kidnapper and they know an interviewer is coming, do you think they're just gonna display everything? And the interview was frankly useless, because it kept glitching. Like, genuinely, I would hear one word every couple of minutes, so it was useless.
I have, but I don't inject the drugs. I have used drugs. I smoke weed daily. Yeah. I mean, I do drink a little bit. I want to quit that again.
And it didn't really get to any conclusion. Anyways, you guys can let me know what you think based on the information I've just provided. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll catch you guys next time.